And we're here. I managed to stay a little bit earlier than I meant to, but we're here. Hi, B. Hi, everybody.
Hello!
One
Hey
of those
everyone, thank you.
days.
Yep, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tonight it is a very special evening. We are going to be bringing the wonderful campaign that we've have going on here called The Last Heir, which is a Tales of the Old Margrave inspired piece from Coldbald Press, to a close this evening. So for everyone who has been with us since episode 1, season 1, thank you so much. And for those of you who joined us along the way, thank you as well for coming and seeing our journey as we go. So I'm going to change it up a little bit tonight and just do a quick little pull together of everything you've all accomplished here in the Margrave. When we first started out, you met in a tavern and had a rather unique experience of getting to know each other and sort of adopting this rather zany old lady who wanted nothing more than beer and cake. Little did you know that she, Mama Rihanna, would turn into this grandmother figure to all of you throughout your journeys through the Margrave Forest. And when you were first hired by Rioric, thinking you were going off to his family's mansion to help them out and get better established in the Margrave Forest, well, things took a sudden turn as you encountered an interesting monster in the river that basically destroyed the barge upon which you were traveling and swept you downriver, where you got to meet Tony, a rather interesting little fellow who helped you all get things reorganized and resituated. And as you crossed over the river to the other side, you got pulled into Ulchek, where you met a rather interesting group of people who not only honored trees, but acted like trees themselves, but helped them with a very interesting issue in the Cradle Grove, where they weren't able to do their usual rituals thanks to a rather menacing vine golem that was created by a druid, though it turns out that that tome that you found turned out to be very interesting down the line. And from there, you found yourselves invited to a rather unique place called the Grove of Eternal Autumn, where you were led by Cal, their messenger. And you met an interesting group of LC people who welcomed you after some time and made you a part of their own tribe. However, you found out while there that the grove itself was somehow compromised and in trouble, and its high priestess, Gypsophilia, had suddenly fallen ill. And with all this going on, you had these different encounters with Baba Yaga in her various forms, as well as her daughters, and it was revealed that Mama Rihanna had once upon a time been one of her daughters, but in exchange for helping her with splintering the heart of the Eastern Margrave, she got to experience her life as a human, though extended. Fun little thing about Baba Yaga. And in process of trying to figure out what was causing the grove to suddenly fall out of its state of eternal autumn and instead start shifting into early winter, things took a turn for the worse as Gypsophilia was completely bedridden and suddenly kidnapped by Baba Yaga herself, only to find out that this bizarre crimson mist was now infecting the grove, and you found yourself face to face with a vampiric lady who had been released by one of the grove's own, Drosera, who turned out to become this vampire, serving this crimson mist, but also as an odd twist of the Margrave fate and magic, is a daywalker type of vampire. So she had been with you the entire time, interacting and doing everything she should as a priestess in training. But she was actually the one working against the grove under this demented sense of the grove would be in better hands under the power of her family instead of that of Gypsophilia and her daughter. And we had it where, after fighting the Crimson Mist and winning, you realized that things needed to be fixed down at the Dead Druid Run. And you thought you had everything figured out for the ritual at hand. And upon traveling back to the Dead Druid Run and seeing the broken stone and preparing yourselves to make the sacrifice of Drosera, as well as the bone golem, or the bone vine troll skeleton, there we go, the vine troll skeleton, you had, at the very last minute, one of the Vila come up with a bone golem, which is actually made from the antlers of the people of the grove, willing to sacrifice that part of themselves to fix what was going wrong. And you all joined together and managed to successfully heal the run and the circle of stones. But now you were left standing with Drosera, this interesting creature, now wanted by not just Pumpkin Jack, who sort of seems to fade in and out every so often for his Queen of Night and Magic over in the Shadow Realm. But now there's also this concern that perhaps if Baba Yaga finds out about this one, there might be more trouble ahead. So you decided that it was time to start making your way to Baba Yaga's cottage, which Slain luckily knows exactly how to get there because, it's Grandma's house. So we left it where Maurice and Mama Rihanna are staying back with Drosera at the campsite, and you are starting on your way over to Baba Yaga's after getting everything settled and ready to go. So you find yourself on this forest path, and there is the call of birds in the air, and you hear every so often things shifting through the brush, the fall of probably some deer's hooves or the skittering of a chipmunk or a squirrel up a tree. You have your new companion AOL, this little cat, who's actually not so little, but you now know what this Margrave forest cat is all about. And it's faithfully keeping by your side happily. And Zira, you can feel in your pocket the weight of Kratos, ready at your call when needed. Gervain, I'm assuming that little Czar is out and about with you, or do you have him tucked away?
No, he's with me, for sure.
All right, great. So as you are walking along, Slain, I'm assuming you would be front lead.
Yeah, I'm assuming that too.
Okay. So Slain is leading you all to Grandmother's house. You've literally gone over the river and you're now going through the woods. Yes, we will.
I too have a pet. I have found a toad and I have put it in a sling. I don't know if this one will explode, but I have it and I swing it merrily, so it's having a great time as we walk to Grandma's house.
Okay, something that could very easily happen. And, you were at the river's edge at one point, so yes, you probably caught a toad. If you want to give it a nature check to see if you can determine if this is some sort of exploding toad or, run-of-the-mill tippity-hoppity, by all means, give me a roll on that one.
Oh, I do. I give it the suspicious eye. As I side-eye it and wait for roll 20 to open up for me. There it is.
Which is always a joy. And so as we have that happening, what would you be doing, Zira, as you watch Slain sort of lead the way to Grandmother's house? What's going through your mind at this point?
I'm going to dig the Russian dolls out of my pack. And I'm just going to undo them and just kind of admire each one of them. I'm not necessarily doing anything with them. I'm just reflecting on these, kind of identifying with the changes I've gone through and kind of, from this weak, scared, fake it till you make it kind of brave person and trying to turn into this adventurer hero, someone who cares for the people around them. So I'm just kind of fiddling with those as we walk along.
Okay, I love it. Gervain, what would be going through your mind? You're about to approach this woman with whom you've had some rather interesting issues here and there.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, Gervain and Baba Yaga have had some beef, to put it lightly. He is trying to practice biting his tongue. He's just let Weeble and Slain just talk. Let them hold the wheel. Just sit back. Unless you're unless you're called upon, just don't say anything. And he might speak up depending on just double checking. You said we can leave the Margrave, right? That's probably the extent of the communication he's going to have with Baba Yaga, for sure.
Okay. All right, fair. And Weeble, as you're looking at this toad, you realize this toad does not have the same markings as those previous ones did. There's not that bright orange streak that went down the backs, and it doesn't have that billowy throat that glows when irritated. So you've basically just found a traditional riverside toad, tree frog type of situation.
My nose twitches and I sneeze and I cast Thaumaturgy on it so that it glows. And go back to swinging.
Okay. So we
They
have
will
a
never
lit
know
toad.
it's not a real toad. It's okay.
Weeble, is that one of the exploding ones? Did you find one?
I did.
Oh, okay. So
I
you need to
think if I
capture
keep
it.
it in motion, it will be like a baby and it won't explode because it'll be, rock-a-bye, toady, no, please explodey.
Okay, we'll keep it in motion until we need it to explode.
Yes.
Well, what would be going through your mind as you feel? Did we give the cat a name? Does the cat have a name yet, or?
Yeah, the cat came with a name.
I'm trying to remember what the name was
We
because
spoke
my notebook,
Queenie.
of course, went missing on me. Queenie, that's what it was. Of course, Queenie. So Queenie, as Queenie, she's sort of weaving against you every so often. She does that thing that cats are so good at, like making sure she's sort of hitting right before your foot falls, but not enough to trip you, and kind of trilling every so often, but looking up at you. And as this is happening, is there anything going through your mind as you get closer to Baba Yaga's cottage?
Maybe a little bit of concern with Weevil having what's supposed to be an exploding toad, although I don't recall them glowing. I'm not going to question it.
Excellent. And Gervain, you are rather familiar with this part of the trail because you've taken it before between the grove and heading to grandmother's. Is there anything you'd be looking out for, anything you'd kind of be pondering as you're bringing your companions to grandmother's house?
You're talking about Slane, right?
Slane, who did I say?
Oh yeah, I heard Gervain.
I'm sorry, I mean Slane.
Oh yeah. Slane's trying to recall the last time that he and Baba were, that talked to each other. It would have been right before she made off with Shreg and Gypsophilia, and she said she wasn't mad, but Slane's like going like, if she wasn't mad, then, if she wasn't mad, she wouldn't say it. But if she wasn't mad, then she would say it too. But he's just working himself into a dead ends and cul-de-sacs of magical logic as he tries to understand what she's doing. And he might actually be spending a lot of that time using, communing with nature to find signs of Baba's will and the like. So he's probably, he knows the way. It's only a couple hours. He's paying attention, but not as much as he would be elsewhere.
Okay. And quick thank you to Ronan Z for the gift subscriptions. Holy moly. Wow. Big thumbs up to you for this evening. All right. So as you're all walking down this path, I'd like you each to give me either a survival or perception check.
And last episode, I hope we just keep on with the ones. I hope we do. Gotta make sure.
Okay.
Michael, I got a 1.
Yes.
Wait, you got a 1?
Yes.
She's taken my energy for the past, because we just recorded another thing, and she was rolling hot ones.
All right, so Slane got a 12, Zero got a 1. Weeble, what did you get?
I totally missed that we were rolling things. We were rolling initiative?
We are rolling either survival or perception.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just always ready for battle with my toad.
Okay. And you got an 11. AOL, what about for you?
16.
16, great. And Gervain?
An 8.
An 8. Okay, so as you're walking along, it's one of those things, you're sort of all caught up in your thoughts as to what's been going on, what could be going on, what Baba Yaga might pull. So you're definitely preoccupied and pensive. So you don't exactly pick up on the fact that you've kind of walked into this rather dismal part of the forest where the sunlight almost seems to be completely drained, whether it's from the thickness of the canopy or perhaps the environment itself. It almost has this boggy, loamy smell to it, and the ground feels slightly softer. It's not that it's become something that's harder to traverse, but you do feel like this slight give, as if you're walking on more of a mossy ground than that of a harder dirt or stone. And the sound sort of seems to be getting absorbed more. You don't hear the echoing calls of creatures around you. It almost has a quieter, heavier feel in the air as you enter into this section of the Margrave. And as you get in further, you notice that in some places it's actually hard to sort of see into the forest further where there is a break in the branches. It almost would remind you as if you're getting into twilight hours, but you know full well that there is still plenty of daylight left. What would you like to do?
Abel's gonna take their shoes off because moss is awesome to walk on barefoot.
Okay. So you are more than welcome to take off your shoes. What would anyone else like to do? There's the phrase I want to say.
Blaine, is this normal?
I mean, sometimes water collects in the forest and gets all in the ground. And, it soaks up, and it can rot some trees, but then other trees really like it, and you never really know. You could just what?
No. Is this feeling? Is this overcastness, weirdness? Is that normal? Not the moss.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't remember specifically this kind of place being on the way to grandmother's house, but I was coming from a different direction last time. It doesn't seem. I mean, it seems weird, right? Like it's is it weird for Margrave, or is
this is Slain for Slain? I think Zira, what Slain's saying is this is normal. I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah,
like, if you want to do a perception check type of thing, you can do so with advantage. Having got your native Margravian and that you're also a ranger, I'll let you do this with advantage.
Sure. Yeah, he'll
Gervain just thinks that like your mumbling means like everything is normal. So
he starts talking
in conscious
really
mode. This is perfectly fine. Everything is totally fine.
Slain thinks out loud. Let's not shame him. All right, here we go.
Boom.
Wow.
All right.
26.
Nice. Okay, both good rolls. 23 or 26. So 26. Slain, you know this part of the forest because it's actually a place you've been brought to often throughout your years when your own grandmothers have brought you to grandmother type of situation, or like when you were visiting her before. So this is a newer development, especially during this time of day. So it's slightly off. It's definitely not the norm of what you would expect in the Margrave at this area. There are swampier areas further south, but you're not far enough to be hitting those quite yet.
Yeah, all of that. No, it's all right. I think Slain will relay all of that to the party, and then he might actually, maybe confer with Aeogolith. Like, could this be the queen's, like, her influence here? Like, the one who we're not supposed to talk about? No, wait. He's referring to the Queen of Night and Magic.
Job of not talking about.
Yeah, it's like once it comes out of his mouth, he's like, "Oh wait, we might as well say it." Yeah, she's supposed to be horned in. All right. He's gonna write it out in Old Earth.
I don't know. I wouldn't dismiss it as a possibility if this is something that is off for the area from what you know. I wouldn't dismiss it out of hand, but maybe it's something that Baba Yaga is doing to maybe help Gypsophilia? We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This is weird, guys. I would keep your eyes peeled. I don't think this is very normal.
Okay.
If you give me a minute, I can look around and see maybe if there's anything out there.
Okay. So you want to do a perception check again, or you want to do a survival or nature?
He's looking for tracks. Like, is there anything around here? Is there anything?
Give me a survival.
Like, did we wander into like a new monster's lair that just took up residence in the last few weeks?
All right. Yep. Give me a survival check.
18.
18. With an 18, Slain, as you're looking around, you notice, especially where it is almost darkest on the ground area, there's all these different types of mushrooms that have begun to grow. And while mushrooms are not uncommon in the Margrave, to see such a variety of different mushrooms, some are the very elongated with the smaller caps on top. You have the others that look more like the traditional toadstools. And then there's some that almost look comically drawn because they're such bright, cheerful colors with little polka dots on them. But they're all scattered around this area. And then as you're sort of gazing upon this one that is a, sort of sky blue color with orangey dots on top, your eyes fall lower underneath it and you see, and it gives you pause for a moment, it almost looks as if there are toes sticking out from underneath the log upon which this one mushroom is growing.
Toes?
Toes. Humanoid toes.
Humanoid toes. I can see your toes. You should come out.
You're speaking to the toes? Okay. What do the rest of you do when you hear Slain say, I can see your toes?
I recall a blue bird telling me about a very strange fungus a little while ago, and I am wondering if the GM has also seen this thing. I think Weevil is actually looking at her toes suspiciously and goes, I remember a story about a prince. Are you secretly a prince because you are not what I say you are? Are you what you say you are? And she's having a conversation with that little toad.
The toad just sort of it blinks its beady eyes at you and hear escape its throat, but it's only a response.
I knew it.
Slain, do you bring the attention of everyone's eyes to the toes, or because it doesn't respond to you?
Yeah, I after I say that, he's just gonna call her. There's toes over here under a log. That's I don't. Maybe it's a mushroom. I don't want to touch it. But he's gonna move to try to touch it.
I don't want to touch it, but he's gonna touch it. Okay, so
not like he's gonna. He's like, should I? I don't know.
Oh, so he's doing the hesitation thing. So you see Slain hesitating over these toes. What do the rest of you do with this? Zira and Gervain and AOL.
Gervain is going to... He's going to just look at Czar. Czar, if you want to go look around to see what Slane's talking about. And I give him kind of a butt pat to send him off to go around to see if there is a body or something that's perished or something that the log is on top of.
Okay, fair enough. So
I'm gonna goat Slain, and I'm gonna Slain. You should tickle the toes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
good. Get a twig or a leaf and go up and tickle the toes.
I like how you're thinking. Yeah, he's gonna get some there's dead leaves around, so they're nice and kind of stiff, that he can get a good tickle with. Yeah, I can roll sleight of hand if.
Yeah, sure, why not? Let's just see how this goes. You're gonna tickle the toes with a leaf.
We'll see. Hey. I'm on a hot streak tonight.
Oh, God. So, with your 19 for a sleight of hand, you go to tickle the toes, and I'm getting the sense that the rest of you are probably watching Slain tickle these toes, correct? AOL, would you be watching as well, or would you be?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch curiously because toes coming out of the ground could be so many different things, and I'm curious because I know there's fae things this could be, which would confirm what he had said on maybe it's, her messing around here, or it could be just a plant, or it could be anything. So it's I want to see what happens.
So
tickling might be a bad idea, but I want to watch.
So as everyone is watching Slain lean in to tickle these toes, Slain, you go to touch these leaves to these toe-like looking things sticking out from the log, and you notice as a leaf touches the first one, it almost seems to disintegrate what looked like a toe, and it falls apart in pieces.
That's not right. Is it fall apart as in an old desiccated vegetation, or fall apart? Okay.
It falls apart like vegetation. It has like this more like soil-like appearance once you pull the leaf back.
Can I try to scare Slane while he's like super invested on tickling these toes?
If you'd like to, yes.
Do I have to roll something?
No, just go for it.
Oh my god, they're moving! And I'm gonna just like, you know when people like kind of poke you and it like scares you? I'm gonna do that to him.
That's great.
Okay, so
I would like to test my initiative if I could to see. I don't know if that's a good.
okay, go for
I
it.
like rolling dice tonight. We'll see.
That's fine. Go and roll. So with a 15. Okay. Slane, you were looking at these toes enough, but you're also very aware of your companions around you. So you could startle slightly, but it wouldn't be something that would make you sort of terrified because you were looking at the toes yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like
a little laugh. That's all.
Oh yeah. So there's these toes. One of them disintegrates. Gervain has sent little Czar to check the other side. How big is this log?
The log it's about the size of a man's leg.
Okay. Oh, so it's not like a giant
No, it's not a huge tree trunk. It's more like a branch that must have fallen at some point type of size.
Okay.
When you startle Slane, Zira, you know, like cats, if sometimes they'll just get weirdly startled and just like leap really high up. That's what little Zar's gonna do, and just like take out some branches up as he like leaps up into the air. I'm just gonna be like, Zar, are you okay? Is it? What are you guys? What are you doing to Zar? And I'm just like trying to figure out what happened there, because I did send him around to see if there was like some sort of body.
I'm gonna do that thing you see kids do where they put their hands behind their backs and they kind of like swing a little bit and they're like
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. So as all this is going on and you're all distracted, what you don't notice is that on the other side of the pathway there are more of these toe-like formations. And as you are staring at the one set, these other three sets of odd-looking toes have released sort of this purple haze around them, much like you would see with mushrooms when they release spores. And as this haze is released at a rather alarming rate, a set of legs begins to grow from these toes, and it leads up to thighs. You get a torso, arms, a head, topped with these rather large mushroom-like caps of this purplish gray flesh, and along it you see in the fins of the cap there is this green slime that's sort of collecting and dripping every so often. And staring back at you from all three of these creatures are these bright green glowing eyes of these rather interesting looking myconid that each stand about the height of Slane himself.
Is this normal, Slane?
No. I've never seen them before. I sorry about your friend's toes. Are they hostile?
They are glaring at you. They have yet to make a move toward you, but they all pretty much came forth at the same time after they saw you toying with the toes of another.
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
Scooch the frog. Scooch.
Stay back! I have a wizard toad. She brandishes the glowing tires.
Okay. Intimidation check, Weeble.
Ooh, okay. Is Weeble good at this? 16.
16. Well, with their 18, the one in the front just sort of looks at you, and you see it sort of just extend a hand towards the frog that you're waving in front of them, and he does this flicking motion, and you see this slight little glob of the slime that has been growing on the cap sort of fling itself from its hand as well, and it catches the fabric in which you're holding the toad, and the fabric seems to disintegrate as this grazes along it, and the toad falls to the ground and hops away into the brush.
Hey, not touching my wizard toad! Now I've got to catch it again, and she starts scurrying up to the toad.
Yeah.
That's very
Be
rude.
careful with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Slane.
I was gonna say he's gonna just be like, "Be careful with that. That my grandmother's told me about green slime. You shouldn't be throwing that around. Is it green slime? Green slime?
It
Not this
looks like a
metagame
slime
question,
that is
but-
green. It looks like
Okay.
it's not a green slime. It's a slimy green
Gotcha. Okay.
consistency.
Snotty, viscous.
Yes, it's if you've seen mushrooms when they've been held in plastic too long and there's that film that they can kind of, it's like that sort of consistency but green.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeremy.
So can we be here? Like, are you? What are you doing here? He's gonna ask the biggest one or closest.
Okay, that would be the one in the center. And let's see, give him a persuasion.
Ooh, yeah, Slane's
Or
really good at those.
performance. Performance or persuasion?
I am equally bad at them.
Well,
That's a 2.
all right. With a 2, the second you start talking to it, Slane, this creature makes this guttural growl deep in its throat, and you actually see sort of the fins vibrating underneath its mushroom cap. And it starts lurching towards you and extends this long arm out, which you see these thorns that almost look like claws at the end of this hand as it goes to try and swipe at you. Give me a quick dexterity check on that one.
Oof. No, thank you.
Okay. So with your 6 on that dexterity, Slane, you feel these thorny claws rip into your shirt and graze your skin slightly, and you immediately feel this welt come up upon your skin and feel this burning sensation as you take on 1 point of acid damage.
Ow. Ow. So is it trying to attack us, or is it like, okay?
It's definitely on the attack count. Yep. So let's everyone roll initiative.
That moment when you're still not sure if you're being attacked or if this is just how they say hello.
It's just are they just being creepy, or are they?
Is this a Mark Greenland handshake, or are we in trouble? So Slane gets a 12.
Trollkin, don't come at me with acid.
Weeble, you have a 7. 0, what did you get?
Zira is having a brief internet moment.
Oh, okay.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. Okay, very nice. Gervain,
A 4.
a 4, and Aowil,
10.
a 10. Okay. So here are your marching orders. We have Zira is up first with her 20. You have these Myconid up next with a 19. Then we're going to move on to Slane with his 12. Aowil, you are up with your 10. Weevil, it is you next with your 7, and Gervain, you bring the end of it all with your 4. Okay? So, Zira, you see this first Myconid, the one who's front and center, swipe at Slane with an extended hand and rip through his shirt with his claws, and you hear Slane shout, "Ow." What would you like to do as you are starting this off with
I'm
initiative?
gonna unsheath both of my swords, kind of spin them around my hand in like the sword dancer kind of way, and just like full on run up and slice each way with each one.
Okay, which one are you going to go to? You have front and center, you have one to the left and one to the right.
Front and center.
You going for the one front and center. Okay, so we have
Mhm.
0 at front and center.
And I'm going to just roll both attacks at the same time, if that's cool.
Yeah, that's totally good.
17 on one and 10 on the other.
All right, the 17 will hit.
Okay. And then one of my hits would be... Sorry.
It's okay.
Kylie's played this game before. Wow, that was really bad. 7.
You got a 7. Okay.
Nobody should allow me to speak sometimes.
So you find that your sword cuts into the flesh of this creature. Where were you aiming when you go to cut into it? Were you going for its arm or its legs? Where are you going?
Sorry, I remuted myself. Kneecaps.
It's okay. Kneecaps. So you do see that you almost, it's sort of like, it reminds you when you're cutting through mushrooms, when you're preparing a meal, you see that you've shaved off a bit of its kneecaps, and it has taken on some damage from your sword. Not too much, it's still up, and it sort of turns its head and growls towards you as well. And that now brings us to the
soft and gushy feeling, like you could like rip at it.
It has that sort of sponge-like feel to it. So you feel your sword make contact, and almost, it's not that it bounces away, but there's that slight resistance you get with mushrooms, like when you go to cut into them, but then finally you cut through that first layer and it slides through easily as if you were cutting through butter. So now we're going to have these myconid all go, and front and center is going to now focus its attention on you, Zira. The one to the left is going to come up towards you, Slain, and go in for attack. And the one on the right is going to advance forward and head towards the rest of the group. So let me see here. Okay, so front and center gets a 13. Wait, hold on. No. Hold on. Gets a 16. Does that hit you, Zira? Yes? Yep, okay. So Zira, we're going to have front and center going after you. Slain, does 21 hit you?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And then the other one got a 13. So the other one got a 13. Does that hit anyone in the rest of the group? Nope.
What was that?
It was a 13 total.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. So you will find that Zira, this one comes up to you and goes in to try and swipe at you as well. So again, its arms are extended. And you feel yourself swatted as it sort of takes a blow against your shoulder. And you are going to take 1 point bludgeoning along with 6 points acid damage from the first strike. It is then going to go back in. And this time you will take on, with its second swing of a fist, its other fist, you're going to take on 7 points bludgeoning and 7 acid damage. And then we have you, Slain. So that one comes up to you, Slain. And you are going to take on 6 points bludgeoning and 4 points acid damage. And then this one instead goes to open its mouth and goes to bite you. And for that one, you get 5 points piercing and 6 points acid.
Yikes. Ow.
Ow. And that is the end of their turn. So you have front and center, and the one to the left is now on Slain. So you have those two clustered together with Zira and Slain. The other one is heading towards the rest of you. And we are now at your turn, Slain.
All right. So this one slashed at me and bit me. So he's going to take out the branch that he's been carrying around and bonus action cast Shillelagh on it, and we'll make his attack there. 13 to hit.
13 will miss.
I think his 13 misses, and then his second attack. Oof, man, that's a fumble. That was an 8. Rolled a 1. Yeah.
Is it 8? Okay.
Rough times. That acid's really thrown him off.
Yeah, so unfortunately you go to swing, and it seems that this myconid is a little bit light on its feet, and it's able to sort of dodge both of those. It almost seems like this swaying motion, and you miss each time. Aowil, it is your turn now. You see that 2 of them have gotten to your companions, and there is one heading its way towards the 3 of you. What would you like to do?
I've seen that these things spit acid, right?
Yeah, very much so, yep.
I'm gonna take a few steps back and be like, I need to get my boots on because this is bad to be barefoot now.
Okay. Are you going to spend your action putting your shoes on?
I think so. Because technically that'd be like putting on armor, and that would be an action in that case.
Okay, yep. All right, so you go to put your shoes on instead. Weeble, that brings us to you.
Okay, it helps if I find my note button. All right. Weeble is going to. She is going to cast. Let me just double check. Yes, she's going to cast Bless on her companions. So all 4 of you will gain a +1 d4 to your attack rolls or saving throws until I stop concentrating at the end of a minute.
Okay.
And
Sounds
she
good.
is going to duck back and maybe try and find a tree to hide behind where she can keep peering out so she can keep concentration on her friends.
You could quickly duck into a brush along the side of the pathway quite easily if you want to, Weeble, and that would give you half cover.
Awesome, yeah. I imagine what it is she was looking for the toad, she looks up, she can hear the sound of combat, and she's like, oh no, dear gods, please look after them, we got to go see Baba Yaga after these.
Okay,
Blessed.
all right. Perfect. And Gervain, it is your turn now. You've seen this all play out. What would you like to do?
Yep, I am going to beckon over to Zar to join us because he freaked out and like knocked some branches and stuff. So I'm gonna call out to Zar. Zar, get on over here, and I'm going to meet up with the Mycodon who's trying to come to the rest of the group, not the ones that are right next to Zira and Slain, so that I can kind of be the wall between, and I'm going to attack the Mycodon. And I imagine Zar needs to take a round to kind of get his stuff together to come over to me, so I'll forego
he was
Zar
close enough
this
he could have gotten over. He could help you out in this because he has the distance to get right next to you and start fighting right away. There's no need for him to regroup for this.
Cool.
So the 2 can take an action.
Oh, and I get to add a 1d4, so...
Yep, yeah,
so
both for you.
That is going to be a dirty 20 for the first hit.
That hits.
And it is 1d6 plus 1d... Okay. 3, 6 plus... So 10 damage for the first attack.
Great.
And then I'm going to go for my second attack. Of course.
Okay.
This is, you know what I rolled. So we'll go over the Tsar. It's a natural 1.
Okay.
So, actually, you know what? We'll just use one of my lucky ones. We'll use one of the lucky charges. Yeah, I'm just so used to it. Okay. Okay, so 13 plus a d4 is going to be 15, 22 to hit.
Yep, you hit.
And then I will do 1 of these. 4. So 4 piercing and 5 necrotic for the second thing. And then, man, I haven't played Tsar in a while, so give me 1 second. It'll be really quick because I'm super organized in my stuff. So here we go.
And you'll notice, Gervain, as your necrotic damage goes in, it does damage, just not as much as you have seen it do in the past.
Yeah. So like when I pierce it with my spear, I kind of see like normally there's a little bit of aggressive like decomposition thing, but it's kind of slowing a little bit into its fibers. It like shields it off.
Yeah, it's almost like the slime that's coming out is sort of counteracting it slightly.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does Zar do now?
He is going to also attack. I swear, if anyone had like stats, Zar does more damage than I do, but that's fine. He attacks more often. So 19 to hit, and this is with his bite. So he's gonna take a juicy bite for 8 piercing damage into one of these Mycodon. And then he's going to rake one of them. That also, Jesus, man, this is where all the things happen. 24 to hit, and a 1d4 plus 3, so 6 claws. So he's just going to, the same one that I'm on, he's like taking a huge bite out of it and then like slashing it through the back as well.
Okay.
So it's just me and Zar kind of like on either side, just going to town on this Mycodon.
Fantastic. So you will notice that this Myconid is definitely not looking as strong as it initially had as it had come towards you. There are openings and gashes from where little Zar has slashed and bit at it, and you see this green ooze coming out of it. Not a ooze, but the consistency of an ooze coming out of its wounds. It's definitely looking weaker than before, but it's still up and standing. That is going to bring us back up to the top now, again with you, Zira. You have this Myconid right on top of you. He has just done some damage as well. What would you like to do?
I'm going to do some like fancy footwork, kind of dancing around to the back of him, and I'm going to attack twice again with both of my swawads.
All right.
21 and 18.
Both hit.
And I'd like to kind of jab it, as far as I can reach up. So probably the back of its leg and drag down.
Okay.
That's as far as I can, do that.
Yep. So what's the damage for this one then?
It is. The first one is 7 and 6.
Okay, so the two of them, you got a 7 and then you got a 6?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Okay, great. You see your swords. This is the first one?
Friendly duel. Nope, that was my entire move, sorry.
Okay, totally okay. So you see that your swords definitely get purchased and they break into the skin and they slice it, and you see that you're able to do more damage. And in fact, this one, it sort of seems to now be favoring the leg where you have placed both of your swords and dragged down on it. It's still upright, but you're definitely doing some damage. And it is now their turn. So we have Zira, one is on top of you, Slain, the other's on top of you, and Gervain, you and little Zar have one. Let's see here. So for Zira, does an 18 hit?
Yep.
All right, Slain does a 4. Slain, I have a 4. That does not hit.
No, AC
Slain,
16. Right? Thank you, B.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then Slain 14, or Gervain, got my ains going. Gervain, I got a 14 on this one for the one on you.
That is a miss.
That is a miss. So, Zira, since you've done some serious damage, this creature is going to look at you, and it is going to snarl at you and go in for first a bite. And that is going to be... All right, so you get 4 piercing, and then 7 acid damage with its bite. And then it goes to swing at you. Which, one moment, please. And as it swings at you, you get 3 bludgeoning and 6 acid damage from the swinging arm of this particular Myconid. And that is pretty much their turn. Since they have someone each on top of them, they're not going to move any much further. They're going to hold their ground and keep battling who's in front of them, which means it is now your turn, Slain.
All right. So as he's attacking, he's also going to draw his maple-leafed hatchet in the other hand and just try to go all out on this one. So
sounds good to me.
There we go. And so first one, all right, thank you. That's 26 to hit for my first attack. And that's going to be 8 bludgeoning for that one.
All right.
Second attack, let me roll that D4 real quick. No, 13 doesn't hit.
13
so
misses.
then my bonus action attack. Hey, 27 for that
That'll
one.
hit.
And this damage is going to be -4 because I do not have that fighting style. So it's going to be 6 damage slashing.
6 damage slashing. Okay. All right, excellent. So, Slain, you finally see that this creature is taking on some slicing damage from your attacks. And it's still standing upright, but you are making some headway with it. That now takes us to Awel. it is your turn. You have your boots on, but these three creatures are still attacking your friends, and some of them are doing some pretty serious damage in process.
Okay. I think this is about the time that, now that I've got a little bit more protection going, I think we start blasting stuff. So yeah.
Sure.
I think the concern for AOL is going to be the Myconids that are actively going after, I've been on people a little bit longer here.
Okay. So that would be the first one on Zira.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, a 21 will absolutely hit. So your Eldritch Blast is ringing true, and it hits the first one that is on top of Zira. Let's see how we do with damage on that one.
Sweet.
Nice. So as your Eldritch Blast fires out, this dark streak that your Eldritch Blasts are known for hits it squarely in the chest, and you see it stagger back slightly from the force which you just imposed upon it, and it takes on the full damage of your Eldritch Blast. Is there anything else you would like to do, bonus action-wise or anything like that?
I don't know if I even have bonus actions. Hold on.
Okay, just check.
You get another beam.
Yeah, I got that. I got to double check because I always forget. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take aim on the one that had gone after Slain, because those were the first two problems. It's a 16 hit.
Yep, 16 will hit, so that means we'll get another 6 of damage. There we go. Here's 6 force. Okay, so you throw this towards the other one, and same thing. You see it hit it, this time more on the shoulder, so it throws its shoulder back, but again, it's taking on the force that you have set out. And that then brings us to Weeble. You see your companions are doing damage, but you also see that Zira and Slain and Gervain, have you taken any yet?
No, I have not.
No, you have not. But you do see that Zira and Slain have taken some damage from these.
Okay. I would like to carefully sneak around to try and get a flanking position, keeping an eye on my friends. Can I do like a stealth action?
You could, if you want to spend this turn sneaking behind to get where you need to go, you could. Because if you're trying to stay hidden.
Action. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it'd be like action to hide, right? With a move.
Yeah. So let's give me a stealth on that one just to be sure it.
And then just
effective.
bonus action, I'll healing word Zira as bonus action if that's okay.
Great.
But I will do that
That's
stealth.
totally cool. Okay.
Cool. Stealthy roll.
You're able to do exactly what you want to do and get yourself positioned. Yep. With a 21, you're
Awesome.
totally able to pull that off. And Zira will get.
And I whisper the magic words. Please heal Zira well. 8 casting at second. Oh no, sorry. 11 casting at second level. I think that was.
Okay, great. So
as I feel that too, I think I've bent over in pain because I'm pretty I'm not about to die, but I'm pretty damaged, and I kind of gasp, letting out a breath of relief.
Beautiful. Nicely done. All right, and then that takes us to Gervain. You and little Czar have this one on top of you.
Yep, I'm going to attack the same one. Let us do this. All right, I'm going to attack with my Stilled Heart Sphere. That is going to be 4. It's going to. Are you still concentrating on the thing, Weeble Wobble? You haven't dropped that, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Been fine.
Sweet.
Still concentrating.
Cool. 23 to hit.
Hits.
For that one, it's gonna be 9 piercing and 5 necrotic. And my second attack.
You said it was 9 piercing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
29 to hit. That's the biggest number I've ever done. So
Yes.
let's see. And then I imagine that hits, so that's going to be 6 piercing. And 1 necrotic. And I'm going to have... Let's see. Yeah, for now I'm gonna... How's the Mycodon looking?
The Mycodon is not looking good at all at this point. You can see that you are definitely instilling some serious damage. There is more of this green substance oozing out of its wounds, and it's looking far more weakened after your attacks. Again, the necrotic didn't exactly take as much hold as you'd hope, but you are still doing damage.
I'm going to have Little Czar attack it as well.
Okay.
He misses with an 8, I would assume, and
yes.
He also rolled a natural 1 because he is my son. So that's how these things go.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything else going on for my.
That's perfectly fine. Okay, great, thank you. So now we're back at the top. Zira, you feel this rejuvenation sinking into your bones from the healing word that Wable bestowed upon you. This creature is looming in front of you, but it's also seeing some hits and taking some blows. What would you like to do?
I'm just going to take another 2 swings at the back of its legs, kind of like where like the back bendy part of a knee is. I don't know what that's called. Back of a
knee. So sort of hamstringing it?
Yep. Words.
Okay. Words, they're fun.
Words. 1 and 7.
What? Both will miss. So I have a feeling that you're still sort of getting your bearings after being healed, and unfortunately it doesn't quite hit as you had hoped. Is there anything else you would like to do for your turn? That's it.
Nope. That's it.
Okay. And the Myconid's turn are now going to happen. So, seeing the one taking some serious blows and really not looking good, the one that's on top of Gervain, the one that you're working on, Zira, will actually sort of focus his attention in that direction. And let's see here. So, you see it take attention towards Gervain, you see it lift its arm, but almost as if it doesn't have enough strength, it goes to throw something, and you see this green spurt of the slime go flying out of its hand towards Gervain, but it flies beyond Gervain and misses its hit with that one. Slain, the one on top of you attempts to swing as well, but it falls short with an 8. And the one on Gervain is going to hit. And Gervain is not here right now, so I'll get the damage rolled up with... It's going to swing twice at him. So that is going to be... Alright, so that is 2 bludgeoning and 4 acid for Gervain. Oh, you just got back. You just took 2 bludgeoning and 4 acid from the first swing.
Perfect.
And it's going to go in for a second swing, and this time you take on 7 bludgeoning and 2 acid. And that is the end of their turns for the Myconid. That brings us to you, Slain.
Alright, so this thing keeps trying to hit me, but doesn't, and I think he's just going to keep doing... Slane's just going to keep doing what he was doing. 2 attacks from the shillelagh and 1 bonus attack from his hatchet.
Okay, let's see.
Alright, I'm going to roll my blessed die. 14?
14 dismisses.
Oh, no.
It does not.
Alright. Second one, 24 to hit.
24 hits.
That's going to be 12 bludgeoning. And then my bonus action attack, 27 to hit.
That hits.
For another 6 slashing damage. Minus 4, because I don't get my strength bonus to that one.
Your strength bonus, right. Okay, so that is... So, Slain, you see that you're definitely knocking the wind out of this thing. It, too, is also starting to look weakened as a result of your blows upon it. Sweet. And, AOL, we are over to you now.
So, Slain, you reckon we gotta actually kill these things? Do you know anything about these?
No, I mean, if it's like a mushroom, then these are just their fruiting bodies. We'd have to dig them up from the ground in order to really kill them. He screams as he's fighting them. That's what he assumes, because of mushrooms.
Okay. Okay.
I think we'd be in a bit more trouble if they behaved quite like that. Okay, we'll just assume that we need to down. Can we just knock him unconscious and leave him?
Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe we don't tickle weird toes anymore.
Yeah, so Eowyn, you tried to go with your Eldritch Blast against this worked so well, but unfortunately it goes wild and it does not strike any of the myconids. It sort of just dashes itself into the trees, both of the rays. Weeble, it is your turn now.
Weeble is going to whisper to Zira, do you think Baba Yaga, not Mama, that's someone else, Baba Yaga would care for mushroom soup? And she is going to cast her spiritual weapon, and it's a giant chopping knife. As her action, so she'll lose her hide, I guess, because she's not going to hide this round. She summons her spiritual weapon as her action.
Okay. And the spiritual weapon
and it'll chop. 15 to hit.
15 just hits this myconid, and you're doing the one in front of Zira, correct?
Yes. She's going to just start trying to clear them out.
And what's the damage?
8.
8. So you see your spiritual weapon dice and slice this quite nicely, and it too is now not looking too fantastic, very much like its companions, as you do 8 force damage upon it.
Oh, it turns out spiritual weapon is only a bonus action, so I can't hide. Goodbye. She just crouches down in the bush, 2 little ears kind of sticking up over the top.
That'll work. That's up to you now, Gervain.
Yep, I'm going to do some more attacking with some spear stuff. Here's my first hit. That is going to be 24 to hit.
24 hits.
Sweet. That's going to be 9 piercing, 4 necrotic, and I'm going to use one of the charges from the spear.
Okay.
So 7 additional necrotic, which I imagine is halved. And then my second attack.
Okay.
I'm going to re-roll that using the lucky thing because we know what I just rolled.
Okay.
And that is going to be 25 to hit.
I hit.
I'm a real fighter now, folks. I'm going to roll. That's 7 piercing and 2 necrotic on top of that.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have, if it's still up, I'm going to have Little Czar attack it.
Okay, this myconid is definitely not looking good at all. It's actually sort of swaying on its feet as Little Czar goes in for his attacks.
Sweet. That is going to be 13 to hit.
That misses.
Okay, and then its claw, it's going to be 17 to hit.
17 hits.
All right, and that is going to be 7 points of slashing damage.
And you see, as Little Czar goes in for this swing, he decimates what is left of this myconid, and it falls to the ground in this, very much like Slain, which you saw when you tickled the toe, in sort of this soil powdery consistency as it falls into a pile. The other thing you notice is that the others, they sort of wince and cringe almost in reaction to feeling the loss of their companion. As Little Czar does away with the one in front of you, Gervain. So we are down to 2 of these.
And then if I can, because I've never used this ability, but I've had it for like the past 2 episodes, but it just didn't work because I have bad rolls. I'm going to. You're going to see how far is Zira and Slain from Gervain, the one that they're
15
attacking,
feet.
because that one's still up. All right.
15.
I'm going to jump back 5 feet, and then you're just going to see like me. Like all my flesh kind of smoke out and turn into like a skeleton real quick, and then you're just gonna see, and I'm gonna appear right in front of that Mycodon, and then you're gonna see all my flesh kind of come back, and I'm going to do Frightful Charge and attack that creature.
Okay. Are you attacking the one in front of Zira or the one in front of Slain? Because there's 2 of them.
0.
0. Okay. Go for it.
That's gonna be 18 to hit.
Hits.
All right, and I'm going to do 10 piercing and 4 necrotic.
Okay.
And then my last attack. Oh, and it has to make a roll of. Let me read this. It's fine. So 13 DC save, Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. And it gets a dirty 20.
Okay, so nothing happens there, and then I will also attack it for the last time, and that is going to be 12. So I imagine that one misses.
Misses. Yep. Okay, but quite impressive.
That will be
thumbs
my
up.
attacks,
Good job, Gervain. And now we're sweeping back up to the top again with you, Zira. You have just seen Gervain sort of appear. Gervain, would you have placed yourself in flanking position, or would you have placed yourself next to Zira?
Oh, we flanking.
We flanking. Okay, so Zira, you now have advantage on these rolls because you see Gervain first sort of appear as a skeleton form, and then suddenly his flesh reappears on it. But you have advantage on your attacks now.
Definitely, Zira's making a mental note to address that when we are not in, combat. And it would be a natural, oh my goodness, a natural 20 and a natural 20. Make it up for the
Okay.
So, here's what we're going to do. Let's see how you do with the first natural 20. With my crits, you get full damage for the first round and then roll your dice again to get the second. So what would your full damage be?
Plus 4 is 12, 13, 14.
14 full damage. Now roll your dice again and we'll add to the 14.
3.
For all of your dice? Yes?
Oh, roll them all again. 7.
7, okay.
So 13 plus 7, 20.
20, okay. So you see this creature as you go in and take this swing. And once again, as soon as your blade cuts through, I'm seeing it kind of slicing through that one leg. You see the bottom part of the leg disintegrate into soil, and the Mycodon just sort of looks at you in shock almost as the rest of its body disintegrates down into a pile between you and Gervain. And again, you notice the last one standing in front of Slain makes this painful reaction, wincing again and doubling over as it sees its other companion fall to the ground. You are within striking distance of this creature as well, if you want to have your other natural 20 aimed towards that one.
No, I think that I would take a moment to make eye contact with Gervain. I'm acknowledging what just happened, and I think I'll just bypass it, to be honest. I think that's what I would do.
Okay, totally fine. This leaves the last Mycodon standing. It is going to try to swing first at you, Zira, and then at Slain. So for its first roll, it gets a 16, Zira. Does that hit? It does hit. And for you, Slain, that does not hit when it's only a 5. So he is going to try and hurl his one hand towards you in a fist. And again, you see those thorny claws at the end. And that is going to be 8 bludgeoning and 6 acid. And then it's going to go in for its bite, which is going to be This is on Zira. He missed you, Slain.
Oh, 0. Okay.
And then that's going to be... Actually, no, it's just that one because he was going to do the other swing at Slain. So, Zira, that's all the damage you take on that one, and that brings us to Slain.
Yeah, so they keep wincing in pain and all the like, right? So they're connected. That he's gonna... It only lends credence to his idea that they're all part of one giant underground myconid root structure. So he's gonna keep fighting with his magic stick and hatchet.
Okay.
Just wailing away at him. Oh, that's a crit for his first attack.
All right, lovely. So you know the rules on that one. What's the full damage, and then roll again.
All right, so that's going to be 12 plus... come on, dice roller. Oh, wow. That's going to be, let's see, 24 damage for that one, bludgeoning, as I rolled max on all of my crit dice. And the second attack probably isn't going to hit. No, 12 misses. And then
12 misses, yep. You have your hatchet.
18 for his hatchet.
That hits.
Which will be, looks like 8 damage. 8 slashing.
8 damage. Okay, great. So you're seeing that this creature is now wavering in front of you, Slain. It almost is barely able to keep upright. It's looking back and forth between you and those piles that were once its companions on the ground. And Aowell, it is now your turn. And there's this one myconid left, and that is standing in front of Slain.
Okay, if we're doing this, we're doing this. Fine.
We might be able to get it to surrender.
If paying attention showed anything, it's felt the pain from offing the others. Might be best just putting it out of its misery. And hope that there isn't any more of them that have been feeling all this.
Hope they don't bring their friends.
Yep. As a 17 hit.
Absolutely does hit.
Okay. I
All right,
tell
2 force
you
damage.
doesn't want to do it.
So this Eldritch Blast.
Asleep yet?
You see it hit your target, and it doesn't do enough damage to knock it into a pile of dirt, but it is definitely not looking good now. Weeble, it is your turn. And from your hiding position, there are now the 2 piles of what was myconid, and now you have the one standing amongst your friends. You see more of this green slime leaking out of its wounds. Its skin has gone from this mix of purple and gray to more of a pallid gray than anything else. And the light in its eyes is definitely not nearly as bright of a green as it had been when it first came out with its companions.
I look at it and I really, really want to fight it, but I've seen it really hack and slash and spit and goop all over my very good friends. And Zira, I think, looks really bruised and ouchy. And so I run in a burst of speed because I am Weeble Wobble and I am very fast. And I run over and I slap a hand on her shoulder and I say, "My name is Mama, and I will heal you. Feel it in your bones until you don't die. You know, it's much better in Ratkin." And then she begins to sing it in Ratkin, and it's just a lot of squeaks and whistles. But I'm going to cast Healing Word. So feel it in your bones. Do not die. No, Cure Wounds, sorry.
Cure Wounds,
and I'm
totally
going to
fine.
cast it.
You're going to reset touch.
Level 3 for you. Here you go.
Okay.
Boom. This crap. Have 8 healing, Zira, with a level 3 kill wounds.
Oh no.
Have less than I gave you with a level 2 healing word.
That's the one thing about the dice rules with those. That was a Gervain roll.
Yeah. That ring of
speaking
luck
of,
really stole everyone else's luck and just gave it to me. That's what happened.
Yeah, and speaking of you, Gervain, it is now your turn. You have this one
sure.
mic and
I think
Right in
I
front of
can
you.
bonus action attack with the
Mhm.
chopper
you have
that I
spiritual
have,
weapon.
right?
Yep, go for it. I forgot
Yeah.
spiritual weapon was
Alright,
up with
cool.
the
Yeah, I
lovely
totally
dice
forgot
roll.
very briefly too. Let me beep it. 23 to hit.
Absolutely hits.
And 8 force damage.
So after you sing the soothing song for Zero Weeble, you see your spiritual weapon do its bidding, and it goes in and it swings at this myconid, and as it slices through at an angle from top down to bottom, and this last myconid sort of falls apart in twain and falls into 2 separate piles of dirt, you see that you have now rid yourselves of all of these corrupted myconid that had been throwing acid slime at all of you. And suddenly, Slain, you'll start hearing the call of birds around you. And you would all start seeing sunlight start to dapple through the canopy of the trees again. And it's as if something has lifted from this area of the Margrave by defeating these myconid.
Huh. Well, I wonder if they came from somewhere else. Are they like... They're just like these puddles of gross
Looks like the dirt you would grow mushrooms in, if anything.
Ah, I see. Their
So it's very
descriptions
loose
of these
soil.
things are really grotesque, V. Kudos, because they're really gross.
I'm glad you like them.
Right. Let's see. Slay's just gonna... I guess they'll just become part of the forest floor. And assume that everything's fine. Like, if the Margrave's back to normal, then these are probably not from here.
Yeah.
He's guessing.
It seems as if you've rid the forest of some sort of blight by defeating these creatures.
Do I get a sense that they were like of the shadow realm, perhaps, given the environmental effects that they had on the place?
Give it a nature check.
Would I need to...
Nature
All right, so here we
or
go.
I'll even entertain Arcana on that one if you want to.
I'm proficient in nature, so I'll go ahead and
Okay.
take that. That's 12.
That's a 12. With a 12, you know that these are definitely not the usual myconid, that even though the Margrave can get a little funky, this is definitely not Margrave funky. This is something else funky, because normally myconid are more poison-based, the ones that you've encountered. You've never experienced ones
Sure.
that were able to throw acid in such a way.
Yeah, not usually aggressive, like he's just, he's ever run into one. Okay. All right, so it's safe to assume they're from another place, possibly another plane or something. All right. I don't like that. That doesn't sit right with me. But I think we should head out.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's
Jack's
We
friend.
will...
Yes,
Thank you
Sarah?
for
That's all.
healing me. And I think that you need to sing that song to Gervain over and over in Rat Folk so that he knows, so that he can start to learn your language, culture, all of that. So just like the entire trip, sing that to him.
Okay, but I don't think I can do the effect as much. It gets very tiring. The gods get fed up of hearing from me.
No, we don't need the effect. We're just getting the feeling of it, the song of it.
Okay, Gervain, listen very closely. Squeak, 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 squeak. You go.
Squeak, 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 squeak.
I won't tell you what you just said, but it was a little rude in the middle, but the last squeak, very good.
I'm gonna pause my lessons on Ratkin for a bit then.
Pause. I see what you did there. Very funny. Because we have pause.
Yup.
Did anybody see where my toad went?
At this point, the toad has probably hopped itself far away. It has been getting swung around in a sash. It has been made to glow. It's been almost attacked by acid. I think the poor thing is shaken and quickly found the fastest egress away from all of this. But you have these piles of soil now left behind. Slain has very much surmised that whatever these weren't native to the Margrave, but they certainly were a threat to the Margrave. And you continue your way on towards Baba Yaga's house. And as you break into the clearing, Slain, this is a very familiar sight to you. However, for the others, you find yourself in this clearing where you see a cottage that is supported by these 2 large chicken feet. And around this is a fence line that is made up of human skeleton pieces. So you have femurs acting as the posts and other parts of bones acting as the beams for the fence line. And there are skulls stuck on top. Some even have candles stuck inside to act as glowing lanterns instead. And the gate is actually open on either side. So you have the ability to just walk right in to the cottage itself. In fact, you even see the legs of the cottage sort of, you know how chickens, when they're getting ready to sort of settle and they'll flap their wings a little bit and then kind of wiggle around a little bit? The cottage almost does that as it sinks itself to the ground, and the front door is in front of the pathway.
And I heard it lays other huts,
Yeah, she wants to expand every so often. There'll be another, wing.
What?
We're kidding.
Slane's going to lead him up to the house and is going over what he remembers about getting the door to open.
The door is actually there this time, Slane.
Is it? Okay.
It's actually appeared. As soon as the cottage settled itself, the door appeared to you all.
So she's expecting us.
She is fully expecting
presumably.
you. The gate was open. The door is showing itself. Yep.
Right. Okay. Oh, so she knows we're here. Should be fine. No problems at all. He's going to walk right on up.
Okay.
I hope Henrietta
How about the
doing
rest
well.
of you?
I'm gonna pause right at the entrance and just like take everything in. Like, this is making more sense. Slain just cozily just walks right up. I'm just gonna like look at one of the skulls and just like nudge it with like my foot and just be like, Gervain, the sooner you get this done, the sooner we're done with this. And then I'm just gonna like begrudgingly take a step forward through the gate.
Yes, Slane.
I was going to say, did we ever... What's up with Gervain becoming a skeleton? Like, was that
You didn't
vampire
talk
blood
about that yet.
too much?
No
We
one
didn't.
asked.
We buried it deep.
No one asked.
Wait,
No one
you
asked
did
about
what?
that one yet.
I've already forgotten about it because it was so horrifying.
Yeah, it's that part of our brain that we forget stuff.
It's the
It's
Margrave
your
Forest,
coping
folks.
We'll talk about it
Yeah.
later, but it didn't happen. We need to take care of Baba Yaga and find out what's happening with her first. Just to keep, it's like the internal monologue going with
Is
everyone
that
right
what
now.
happened during the combat just now?
Yes.
Yeah.
It might have been.
Okay, I might have missed
away
it.
for a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. He basically phased out by turning into a skeleton, then phased back in front of the other myconid as a skeleton, and the flesh reconvened upon his body. No big deal. We're fine. Moving along.
A true showman.
So do you all just follow Slain up into her cottage then?
I
All right.
would like to briefly look around for my squirrel. I sent a squirrel out here, never showed back up. Just gonna check and see if my
Oh.
buddy's hanging around.
Poor.
All right, do a perception check.
Deidre just want to tell me it's not here before I do it.
It
Right,
depends on what your
perception check.
perception check does.
Natural 1
All right.
with an 8.
With an 8. So with your 8, you actually, Weeble, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of different either animal skeletons or, animal hides that are sort of just in random little spots. But your squirrel, you couldn't really say if it was there or not, no.
I look down at my fallen reveler and my little rodenty friends, and I say a prayer to all of the appropriate gods. And one for the cat goddess, the great huntress in the sky. And then her face kind of hardens, and she's like, evil woman. And she'll stalk back around the house to her friends. Tail in hand, just twisting it into little knots.
So as you open the door, Slain, you get the familiar sight again. It's a very cluttered, very filled cottage. One misstep and you could topple over a stack of books. Another, you might be tripping over a chair. There is a fire going in the fireplace, and it is lit with various lanterns around it. You see off in the distance, and you would know this, Slain, to be Baba Yaga's bedroom. The door is closed. And there is something bubbling over the hearth itself in a large black cauldron. And as you all step in, your footfalls sort of echo through, and you hear, muffled behind the door, Slain, darling, have you come to say good morning to Grandmother?
Yeah. I brought some friends. We were hoping that we could talk over some, breakfast soup.
Yes, all but the metal man, right?
Yeah, I don't know where he went. We kind of lost track of him.
He's back at the campsite with Mama.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
That was Slane's animating spirit that forgot.
That's totally fine. It sort of wiped a few away. So you see this bedroom door open, and Baba Yaga comes out, and once again you see her spindly legs, and her long white hair is actually a little bit pulled up haphazardly into a bun, but there's these long strands that sort of fall here and there. Her apron is rumpled, and her clothes look as if she probably hasn't changed in a few days. And she's carrying a tray, and on the tray there's a various stack of bowls and different teacups and everything like that. But Slain, you would notice there's actually a almost not merry twinkle, but a pleased look in her eyes as she sees all 5 of you standing in her, basically it's a kitchen area at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I see y'all made it here all right.
Yeah, ran into some trouble on the way.
What kind of trouble?
These purple and slimy mushroom people.
What do you mean purple slimy mushroom people? I told the girls to make sure you'd have an easy way to get here.
I mean, it wasn't like that bad. We did all right. But yeah, it was like, giant purple slimy mushroom monsters.
This is new to me. That's not something I've
No, it was new to me too. Yeah.
And
Force is all gloomy,
sort of like
shadowy. He's like totally talking shop with his grandma at the table. He's pouring himself a tea.
Perfect. I love it. So Slain is making himself at home in Baba Yaga's cottage because it's Slain and that's grandmother. She puts her tray down, and you can see this look of concern cross her face, Slain, as you're talking to her about this. But Zira, her eyes dash over to you, and her brows furrow. Slain, this does not look like one who has done okay with this encounter of which you speak. Young lady, are you feeling quite all right?
I'm really fine. It's nothing you need to worry about.
Don't lie to me.
I don't want to inconvenience Slane's grandmother.
You're in my house, dear.
I've heard stories. My voice will crack a little. I was trying to be brave.
Oh, yes.
I'm
sure. Yes, I'm sure you've heard stories. Everybody has stories told of them. I have heard that you're a murderer.
And I reach up and touch the scar on my face. And I
I'm not
look
holding
over
that
at
against
Gervain.
you.
I'm fine.
If you're not feeling fine, you'll let me know. And Gervain, you're looking well.
Yes, it is quite nice to be here, Baba Yaga.
Well, sit down and have some tea with Slain. I made sure there was a fresh pot waiting. We have some things to discuss here.
Water sounds great, thank you.
Slain, do your friends not trust your grandmother?
I mean, I think like they're a little put off maybe by the last time we talked. I mean, it was kind of tense, what with the whole, gypsophilia and Shrek going missing, and
They did not go missing. They brought them back here. Shrek came along to help
I don't know that they saw it that way. I don't want to speak for them though.
There are also a lot of corpses in your garden.
I've been here for many years. Sit down at the
It's
table.
normal? Okay, I sit down.
Alright, I hear that my little gift to you all seems to have worked. Yes. The golem, it did its job. That's good. It seems to already be taking effect. Gypsophilia is actually improving for the first time that I have seen since bringing her to my house. Those three right there, she's finally eating and drinking. That is all just from one day. There's actually a glow in her cheeks and a glint of life in her eyes again.
We don't actually see her though, right?
She's pointing to the bedroom door, so you don't see her physically. Your little friend Shrek was quite helpful. There was a moment where we almost lost her. But he pulled out this device, this rabbit thing that he had. And time seemed to have stopped. It bought us time, if anything. And when things went back to normal, I got word that you had managed to perform the ritual.
And where is Shrek and the little rabbit thing now?
He's in the bedroom with Gypsophilia right now. They're telling her stories about Rava.
Rava. This is good to know, for no reason. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Hey,
Grandma, I'm not sure that everybody's is comfortable with your complex and multifaceted, personality.
Oh, Slain, I know people think I'm a bitch.
Yeah. Well, I don't say it. I try to do what I can.
I'm a tough woman.
It's a tough world.
Happens. You get reputations.
Mm-hmm.
But I am sure you're all going to be very surprised to hear that I am very pleased with what you all did. And how you have taken care of the forest. And made sure that the balance was restored to it. You actually did a good thing for me and for the other inhabitants of the Margrave. Well, you especially have been keeping the well-being of this forest in mind. Considering your origins, I'm rather impressed with how much the forest is embracing you at this point.
Are you talking family origins? Or where I grew up.
Perhaps. Well, why not both, quite frankly? It seems you did some damage control, because apparently negotiating with certain people doesn't always work out well for all of you. Shocker.
He started it.
I am not children. I am not asking who started it. I'm just saying. Perhaps something to keep in mind for future negotiations. Make sure that when you're talking to someone, they are not some sort of connection to people of power. Or the person of power themselves. And she shoots you a look, Gervain.
I don't know who you're talking about. I am not really speaking.
Of course not. We'll just pretend that wasn't said then. No problem at all. Look, if you want to go see Gypsophilia and you want to see Shrek, you're more than welcome to go back there and check on them. I need to make sure I'm bringing some more food into her. And perhaps then you'll be a little less antsy-pantsy.
I would very much like that.
And you're just going to let us take them when they're healthy.
My dear, that was the whole point of bringing her here. I am strongest in my own home. I told you I needed you to help save the Margrave. You saved the Margrave. The only strings attached are the ones around the tea bags, which apparently you don't want to drink.
No.
Then you can go check on them.
Okay. And I'm just gonna like slowly walk away from the table to go check on Shrek and Gypsophilia.
Alright. Do the rest of you follow, or do some of you stay at the table?
I think
Slane's gonna stay at the
gonna
table.
Okay, so we have Aowell and Slane at the table. So we will want to go in. Zira, you're going in as well. And
I think
Gervain.
we will call back to Baba Yaga. I will tell you your fortune later. Thank you. Just.
Okay, she kind of just like, she's stirring the punch. She sort of puts the spoon down and looks over her shoulder like, she not think I have my own set of tarot, but all right, fine, that's whatever, fine, I'll humor her.
Oh, and Slane, give Baba the gift.
Oh, yes, the gift. He's going to rummage around his pack for it. I forgot what we were getting her.
I think it was a scarf.
Scarf?
It was this.
I have written down Weeble Squirrel, and I don't know what that means.
I think you meant Weeble Scarf.
Yeah, I think it was a scarf.
Figured out where she misplaced it. She made it into a scarf. There we are.
Okay. So, as you open the door, Weeble, Zira, and Gervain, there is a very warm lantern light filling this room, and the first thing you see is this large bed with a bunch of different quilts stacked upon it. And you see Gypsophilia has sort of been tucked in and is lying there comfortably on her side. Sort of like as you know, if you've ever seen deer sew themselves up in fields, she's sort of positioned that way with blankets over her, and there are pillows behind her so she can rest her back easily against them. And you see that she is talking to someone with her head turned in the other direction of the bed, but you can't see them. But she turns her head and looks at all of you as she opens the door. Oh, hello, I see you finally made it back here. Well, we were expecting you. And before she could even say anything else, even though her mouth is opening, you hear,
oh, guys, it's you! Oh my god, it's you guys!
And Shrek, they come running around the other side of the bed. And their hands are flapping around, and immediately, Gervain, you feel them wrap their arms around your leg, and you feel this enthusiastic squeeze. Zira, they quickly about-face turn to you, and they charge towards you with a huge hug.
Oh, it's so good to see you! It's Mo. I got stories to tell you. Oh my god, who are you?
And they pause right in front of you, Weeble. This little kobold.
Hello, I am Weeble Wobble.
Well, I'm Shrek.
I know! We have a mutual friend in Rava, and she would really like her little rabbit back now.
No, I used it. She told me to use it if we need to use it, and I did. And then it disappeared. I still have this, though.
And they hold out their dodecahedron.
I'm sure a rabbit in exchange for that bumpy rock will be the same.
Maybe.
And then you hear
What
this
does
little
it do?
chuckle.
Different stuff, depending.
Interesting. Hands go out. Wants to play.
No.
And he pulls it back and he tucks it, and they pull it back and they tuck it back into their pocket. And you hear Gypsophilia start to laugh. Your little friend has been very attentive and very helpful. And I am told that perhaps I can head back tomorrow if I keep up at this rate. Although Shug here thinks they might have a different way of going about doing it with that little toy of theirs. What happened to the others? I heard Eowell and Slain are in the other room at least, correct?
Yeah, they're over there.
What of the Maurice? Where is he?
Maurice is, you know how the forest gets to Maurice from time to time, so he had to stay back at camp, kind of like a half a day's away.
I see. But he made it through?
He sure did.
That's
Honestly, I'm just surprised that... I mean, it was 50-50, but I'm happily surprised that you and Shrek are okay.
I am sure that my exit was something of a concern. At that point, I was too far gone to even be able to try and plan what was happening in our departure, but Baba Yaga knew that it was very touch and go for me there. She has done nothing but take care and try and help me gain my strength back. She has used many of her powers to try and keep whatever was going on at the bay.
I mean, like, can you blame us? The way that you left, if you heard about it, was very thematic. Lots of things changed. It was like a children's book. You were silhouetted by the moon, and she was flying off. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like a doom kind of telling or something. Whatever Weeble Wobble does, like, it seemed like a doom one, and that's probably why we were very concerned.
Which is perfectly alright and understandable, especially considering she isn't always on the best side of others. But I thank you for your concern.
Yeah, the sooner I think we get you back to your people and your community, the better off things will get, and I'm sure we're all quite happy that you're okay.
Well, I would love to hear how you managed to bring this all to a close. And she'll actually pat the bed around her, inviting you all to sit. And you see that Shrek, they jump up right next to her and they sort of fluff her pillows and then just sort of sink in comfortably by her side.
Yeah, I want to hear all about it.
And it's up to you whether you want to sit down on the bed itself, or there are a couple of chairs in that room. But we'll phase out from there, where you were talking with Gypsophilia, and go back into the main kitchen area. Slain, darling. So, you've made Grandma's proud.
Yeah, I brought you something too. And he's going to give her the second of the Alcide liquor bottles that he took.
And you see she gets a very
just
pleased look on her face. Oh, yes, this will come in quite handy this evening, for sure.
I don't want to pry, but is Henrietta still around?
That chicken you left behind?
Yeah, the black feathered chicken.
Yeah, she lays very good eggs.
But she was my boon companion.
You left her behind without so much as a goodbye to me.
I mean, yeah, that's right. Listen, I don't intend to do that again. I feel like that was a big mistake. But I'm glad she's still alive.
What, do you think I was going to take her and, like, make her into dinner? I asked her what she'd like for dinner when you left her, and she made it very clear she's more partial to corn kernels.
Yeah, I think I was more just, worried you'd be mad at me and take it out on her, but, that's on me. That's not you. So I'm glad that we're square again. I don't like being mad at you, Baba. So yeah. That's the one thing he wanted to ask.
Okay.
But
Shlaine, if you want,
he's going to wait till
a
second to talk about the stone.
All right. If you want to go to see the chicken, I can show it to you in the coop.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
All right. Eovel? Rumor has it that you've taken on some new abilities since you've been here.
One or two, you could say.
Well, I know that Mama Rihanna is most likely going to help with training you up further with these newfound abilities. But just know that if you ever want to learn a few extra, that my door is open to you. No strings attached. And she sort of waggles her fingers, long bony fingers. What do you think it's going to take for your companions to accept lunch or some sort of meal before I work on getting Ophelia back home? I wanted to make sure she was looking all right before moving her.
No offense, but given their amount of distrust, which given the encounters they've had in this forest, and it's not just you, probably actually seeing one of us make it and not you.
Well, my kitchen is your kitchen. Shlaine, you come with me. And she turns over her kitchen to you, AOL. And she motions towards, root vegetables and some fresh herbs and everything like that, and empty pots. Whatever you think they might like, go for, make it. Assure them I was not even in the room. We'll go get Henrietta, not for dinner, Shlaine. But you can at least say she's fine. She'll walk out.
I think I might make a nice big pot pie for everyone.
That sounds lovely. The flour is in the pantry behind you. And Shlaine, she leads you outside after giving that last bit of direction to Eowelgalith. And she leads you right up to a chicken coop where you see there are all these various chickens in different colors, the usual browns to the whites, but one distinctly stands out as an all-black hen, and who is happily sitting on a pile of hay near the coop itself, but instantly perks up when she sees Baba Yaga coming towards the coop. And fluffs up her feathers and sounds type of thing.
Yeah, that's great. Check this out, Baba. And Shlaine is going to turn into a hen himself using his wild shape and have breakfast with Henrietta and the other chickens.
What?
She just she does like this dry, cackly laugh, and she almost turns it into a game with you, Shlaine. Like she'll throw kernels out towards you to see if you can get them faster than the other chickens. And she starts
He's
to
not
laugh.
good at being a chicken.
And I think she starts laughing at part of it. And she'll say, Shlaine is very good and well done, young boy. Now stand up and let's speak your, choke into Baba.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. I never done that before. I just, I had a dream I could, so I believe in myself.
I think you should.
And he's gonna take out from the pouch around his neck and open the bag in front of Baba Yaga. Mama Rihanna said you might know more about this. I've looked into it and saw the memory in there, but I mean I don't really know much else about what's going on. And I don't know. Maybe you just help me figure out what's going on. He's gonna like hand the whole thing over to Baba Yaga.
And you'll see her sort of put her long fingers, bony fingers, into the bag, and she pulls out that ruby stone with a swirling gold mist in the center, and she holds it up to the late afternoon light. Where'd you get this one from?
Jim's trying to remember. I think we got it from Pumpkin Jack. Yeah, Pumpkin Jack got it for me. I voluntarily took it on, you know.
Do you know who is it of?
Yeah, it's Ellebrae, my mom. This is a fragment.
Do you wish to find your mother and reunite this with your mother?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I feel like I owe her that much.
Then you, my boy, have a journey in front of you.
That's okay. I like walking.
You're going to be doing lots of walking and lots of traveling. You may even need to speak to Pumpkin Jack about going into a very different place in the Margrave. And she'll put the stone back in the bag and tie it very carefully and hold it out to you open palm. Keep this very safe. And see if perhaps you don't have to take this journey alone.
Yeah. I feel like there's someone else involved in all this. Like when I looked at the memory, there was someone watching me with like my other grandmas, and she's wearing a cloak or something with a moon on it.
Did it by any chance have some iridescence to it?
I think so, yeah.
Almost like the night sky. The stars when they twinkle.
Oh yeah, that's a good analogy, yeah.
Then you need to speak to Pumpkin Jack. And you need to get yourself to the court of the Queen of Night and Magic.
Oh, okay. So we walk down one of the shadow roads then?
Yes. You are going to need to leave the Margrave Lane. Your time has come to adventure on.
Yeah.
No, you have not. So I suggest you travel wisely. There's more adventure for you ahead, young man.
And
can I keep the chicken? Since you won't be eating her.
Yeah. Just, keep her safe and, you'll give her a good home. I know you will.
I have already. Look at her. She's fat as can be and laying 2 eggs a day. Granted, they're black and they scare the heck out of other people, but for me, it's fun.
She looks really happy. That's good.
Good. Let's go back inside.
Yeah.
See how your companions are feeling. And by the time you'd go back inside into Baba's cottage, it's, probably between turning into the chicken and eating like a chicken and playing around, it's probably been about a half hour, 40 minutes or so, especially since you would have had a chance to sit and chat more with Baba Yaga. The rest of you would have heard Shreg tell you all about how both he and Baba would take turns, making sure that Gypsophilia was being monitored and someone would sit up with her through all hours of the night and the day, whether it was themselves or whether it was Baba Yaga or even some of the Vila. They would come in and assist every so often. And you would hear the door to the back of the cottage sort of slam, and you hear the distinct voice of Baba Yaga coming in and Selane's voice, echoing in the lower tones. And you would have heard Eowelgolith preparing a meal. And eventually you all would have been able to sit down. And after much assurance that Baba Yaga had nothing to do with the preparations, in fact, she has offered to leave the cottage entirely if it makes you feel better, but instead she goes in to sit with Gypsophilia, you are able to sit down and have a meal at Baba Yaga's kitchen table, all 6 of you. And while you are having your meal, we're going to phase over to the campsite where Maurice is sitting with Drosera and Mama, and they're just having some back and forth chatting, and much of it revolves around Drosera trying to decide what it is she wants to do. And as they are discussing this, the air behind them is suddenly phasing in and out and getting sort of that heat wave look that you'll often see on those hot days over asphalt. And then suddenly opens up, and Pumpkin Jack steps out behind them. And he will walk over and place his shoulders upon place his hand on top of Drosera's shoulders and lean his pumpkin-y, grinning head in to all of them. And you see Drosera just sort of look up in surprise and give a startled nod and jump up and turn towards him and take his one hand. You see Mama just sort of looking slightly flustered and doing a slight shake of her head, but Maurice then standing up and placing one of his middle hands on Mama's shoulder and giving it a squeeze. And he tips down and gets close into her face and says something, and you see her features soften slightly. Then he stands upright again, and he takes Drosera's other hand, and he, Drosera, and Pumpkin Jack turn back and start to walk down the Shadow Road as the air closes behind them, leaving Mama sitting at the campsite, not necessarily looking crestfallen, but a rather pensive expression on her face as a slight little tear escapes the one corner of her eye. And she kind of takes a big sigh, and you hear her say,
"Well, this is going to be a fun one to explain."
And she pulls out her flask and takes a quick little swig and goes into her tent and flicks the flap closed for a little bit. And soon enough, had someone been there, would start to hear her usual snores when she's gone off to take one of her naps. But after you finish your meal in Baba Yaga's house, you spend the evening discussing probably the best means to move Gypsophilia, because while she is doing better, she is still in a weakened state. When it's decided it's probably for the best that Baba Yaga kind of work her magic a little bit, and she will basically get you all back to the campsite by nightfall. And you can see that everything is still in order, and you'll see that Mama has been there sort of preparing an evening stew, and she looks rather startled as you're all just suddenly standing there with Baba Yaga behind you, and she sort of looks a little,
Okay, so... Hi, everybody! How's Gypsophilia? Is everything all right?
It's okay.
Oh! Okay, good, so it worked.
Yeah, whatever they did, it worked.
No, I mean, whatever you did, it worked. Whatever we did, the ritual worked. It all pulled together.
Oh, that's right, yep. Right. Mm.
Yeah, right. You feeling okay, Gervain?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, I didn't think things would tidy up so nicely, so cautious. Happy.
Gervain, speaking of feeling okay, I saw this thing, wasn't sure, mushrooms might have been the mushrooms, but you seem to have maybe turned into a skeleton. Was that me? You?
On that note, I'm out of here. You can have fun explaining this one, Gervain. Good luck on that. And Baba Yaga will immediately pull out her mortar and pestle, and she kind of zips off. Like, good luck, buddy. This one's on you.
Oh, okay. I mean, you've seen Little Czar do it from time to time. This is just me doing it. So, okay. Remember, I come from a village of people who ghost hunt, right? Well, we have also learned how to do some ghost stuff from a nomadic ghost, which we just affectionately call the Nomad. And after maturing as one of these ghost warriors, some of us have been given some gifts and abilities, and it looked like that happened at some point recently. So that's my explanation.
Zero really doesn't have a lot to say to that. Like, silence is her true reaction to that. Not like hateful, mean silence, but like trying to absorb it and understand it silence.
So you're quiet. That's, I mean, I don't know if that's bad. That's good. I mean, Czar, like, you've seen him. Czar, do the thing. And I don't know if Czar does it or not, but probably not. I'm just like,
well, let's see.
Okay.
Czar just kind of looks at you and tilts his head and kind of like,
the thing.
Do what?
Forget about it. Forget about it. Okay.
And then he like puts his paws down and like gets ready, like the thing, like you want to play the thing?
Close enough. Good job, buddy. We'll work on it. But yeah, so it's just meant to it's meant to set my opponents off foot. That's all it ever it is. It's not I don't know. I don't think I do anything other more creepily
Is it painful?
than that. No. You feel like a cooling sensation all over your body, and then you come back and it's all warm. Like there's a flash of warm. So that's, you get a little nauseous, and that's about it.
Does it
So
affect
essentially,
your personality?
What?
Like, will you get stuck like that? Is there something inside of you? Like, how does this?
I think it's just where I was trained and born in a way. I don't think it's it changes who I am or what I am. It just it is. That's the best way I can explain it. Some of us in that warrior community, some of us get this gift and some of us don't. And the ones who do end up training in the trials, which I think I spoke briefly about to the group. Actually, maybe not. I dreamed about it. That's a whole story. So the reason I means exile from my community is because during the trials, I have sort of like a teenage rivalry, more now of an adversary. That if I see her again, I'd probably mess her up, but she blamed an incident on me wrongfully, and I took the fall, and that's how I met Little Czar when Little Czar was alive. And I've just been exiled and moving from place to place ever since, without a clan or without a community. That's how I ran into you folks at the inn. Is that, do you have any questions?
I don't know what everybody's planning on doing, Gervain, but I kind of want to go home. You know, when it was snowing, I'm from the north, and it reminded me that my mom and my dad and my brother, lost a daughter and a sister the same night they lost their son. And, I'd kind of like to close that up. And since you have nowhere to go, if you would maybe want to go with me.
Sure. I mean, I didn't have a community before because I got exiled from that, and I kind of treated everyone here like that. So I think I'd like that idea. I like the idea of first off getting away from here, and then maybe finding a community that I like, and I'd love to start there.
It would be nice if you could help me. I, had talked about an arranged marriage, and it would be nice if you could help me explain to my family that, love is love and not arranged marriages and titles, and give them like a very pointed look.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't know that was part of what you had going on, and
Sierra,
I
think you're
Mabel.
supposed to go on one knee when you propose.
I
thought he
was. I don't believe in marriages anymore. I don't need a ring.
Oh no, a marriage just died. It's like saying you don't believe in fairies, right?
No, it means that
I do believe.
Well, I think you two kids are off to a great start.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that the choice is yours, right? Like, that was the whole reason I stayed here in the Margrave, to help everyone here, is to make sure that they had their own choice. And I do choose you, and I choose, and if you make that choice too about me, then we can see where that goes.
I'd like that.
By the way, Maurice is gone.
Oh, what?
What?
Maurice, he left.
Why? Where?
Because
Where?
he went with Pumpkin Jack and Dressera back to the Shadow Realm.
He went with. Wait, we were meant to have 3 days.
Kind of made her an offer that she didn't want to refuse.
I'm going to get that pumpkin man, and when I catch up to Metal Man, I will have words for him as well.
Well, then have fun with your Pumpkin Man and Metal Man. You're gonna have to go chase after them.
But I was going to say, before you get that, we said 3 days, right?
Yes.
I may have flubbed a bit, and we may have made a mistake and not specified 3 days where. And time there is different.
That's
it very
what he
well
said.
could have been 3 days.
It was. He said time was up. It's 3 days. You gotta come with me, and that they had a nice room and everything waiting for her. Maurice offered his services to take her along and make sure she was protected.
Still a little bit mad, not making it better.
I knew there was a hole. I knew I missed a hole.
Well, I mean, you got back from Baba's in one piece, so something went right today.
Yep. I don't know if I want to see where Maurice has gone to. I mean, he is pantheistic, so maybe he wanted some of that culture. I don't know.
Well, you strike me as one who
Just
likes
make it
to ride.
sound.
If you're worried, I can write my brother and have him keep an eye out too. We have that.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. You can definitely let us know what your brother says. Slain.
Yep.
No, I mean, what are your plans? Are you staying here in the Margrave?
maybe for a little bit, I gotta find my mom. You know, like my brothers, they're probably not gonna do it, and my dad's he has got that wound, so yeah. So I think I really ought to, and I mean I gotta find a shadow road, and I don't think my time with Pumpkin Jack's over either. So that looks like where I'm going.
Can I help?
Oh yeah, listen, Weeble. I was gonna ask you because you're like you're really good with other people, and I feel like that you got it's hard to pull a fast one on you. You know, you seem like you've got really really sharp, and so I could use your help.
Yes, I can't believe that Pumpkin Jack managed to find a loophole.
Yeah, I think I think you would have been able to get him. You know.
Yes, I'm a very adept negotiator.
Mm-hmm. I need someone like that. I could really use your help, Weeble.
I will be your hustler.
Very good. Very good.
One piece of advice, maybe don't use that term over there, though.
How's that?
Oh. Does it mean something in Fae?
Depending on the Fae you talk to.
Good to know.
He's not wrong.
Maybe you should come with us. You seem to know a lot.
Yeah.
No, she. Ayla, you need to stay here, yeah.
I kind of have connections here. I mean, I've got connections there for you. I can write my brother about you too, and maybe he can join up with you. And hey, maybe you could have one of the lords along with, given his significant other is one of them.
Could you, in the letter, mention my friend Shimmy Shake, see if they know anything about that? I meant to ask Baba Yaga, but she disappeared.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's SHIMMYYYSHAKE! Exclamation point to show we are excited.
Okay. Let me write that one down, like right now, before I forget it.
SHI. And she'll repeat it.
And as you sort of wrap up your evening, you all will bed down and sleep in your various tents at your campsite. You'll pack up the next day, and with Slane's abilities and Mama Rihanna along with you, you all find yourselves back in the direction of the Grove of Eternal Autumn. And as you hit that archway, where last you saw it covered in snow, devoid of any leaves, you see that once again there is this golden archway waiting for you with various hues of reds and oranges and yellows playing across it as the sunlight plays through the leaves. The air is crisp but comfortable. There are no leaves falling to the ground. In fact, all of the trees are these riot of warm autumnal colors. And you see that there's still a few little patches of snow left where there are shadows, but the majority of it is now already gone. And you make your way up to the familiar longhouse area, and you see the Alcide population. They come out, and you are all greeted enthusiastically. There are hugs, there are people patting you on the back, there's laughter, there is someone suddenly playing a pipe of some sort, and it becomes an impromptu celebration as they start to cook up a meal, and the children are running around laughing. The birds are calling all around you, and you see the two double doors open up to the longhouse, and the familiar silhouette of Finn with his antlers. And he makes his way out to you. And the one thing you would notice is that there is a lopsidedness now to his antlers. And you can see after he gets closer to you, that's clearly where he has sacrificed part of his antlers to help make that antler golem for the ritual. In fact, you would notice that all of them at some point, or no point intended, have a piece of their antlers all missing. But he opens up his arms to all of you and is extremely grateful for the return of his wife. And just after he says that, you see Gypsophilia and Fedorata standing at the longhouse together in the entrance as well. Fedorata is supporting her mother because she's still a little bit weakened from what had happened. Baba Yaga dropped her off this morning with your little friend, Shreg. They are, making sure that everything is in order according to what Baba Yaga has ordered for her recuperation. But I have you all to thank for this. And he sweeps his arms across the expanse of the grove that you can see. And it is truly a time of happiness and people liberally pouring out the good wine, so to speak. And the food smells sumptuous. And you would basically spend the rest of your day there in this celebration with the Elseed people. And later on, as everyone is getting ready to call it a night, Finn would come up to each of you and place in your hands a pouch filled with gold pieces containing 1,000 gold each, saying that while it's not normally something his people use, as they're more of the bartering kind, he wants to make sure that you are all well taken care of for wherever it is you go to next. But know that you always have a place here at the Grove. And AOL, he will turn to you after he starts to walk away, and he comes back. And this is just the two of you alone. You have very much shown that your heart is part of the forest, is part of the grove. We are down a priestess in training. Perhaps, as one who cares so for the grove, we could make room for one of certain abilities to help us honor Hulda and care for the grove as well.
I think Gael's a bit speechless because she knows how Elseed Groves generally works. So to even offer what is, despite everything, she is still an outsider. She knows this. So to have that offered, that's a huge, huge thing.
You do not need to answer this now. You are more than welcome to think about it. It is an offer that will remain open to you.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, definitely some time to think and maybe learn a bit more about Hulda.
I am more than happy to make sure that you feel comfortable with the decision you make. You are welcome here at all times. We would be honored if you were to join us, but it is ultimately your decision.
Thank you, Fania. Where's Cal?
He gets a little smile on his face. You can find Cal playing his little violin with the other musicians outside.
Okay, I think I'd like to go find him.
And he'll tip his head towards you, and he places his hand over his heart, and he bows even deeper this time. as a show of respect to you, Eolglith. And he'll make his way into the back area where you know that most likely Gypsophilia is back in their bedroom resting. Because even though she is better, she's still on the mend.
Okay. Ael would have returned the bow before he turned and left, and then gone off to go find Cal.
Okay. And you easily would have found him. He is standing with one who is playing the pipes, another who has a drum set in front of them, just a couple of simple drums with skins pulled across the frame. And the second he sees you, his face lights up with a big smile, and he sort of motions over to you to come and join him. And he actually will stand up and make space for you to sit down where he had been sitting so that you can enjoy the music as he continues to play with his companions, and you watch the Alcide celebrate the return of their grove as they know it. And this is where, amongst the music and the laughter and the light of the twilight sky glowing above you, we will leave Zira and the Lovemakers in the Grove of Eternal Autumn as they prepare to shift over to new adventures and new experiences. But that's going to be another chapter in another adventure. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. This has been an incredible campaign and an amazing experience. And I have been a very, very lucky DM to build this story with some talented and creative thinkers over this past year. What I'm going to do is my usual. I'm going to go around and have my players introduce themselves, tell us what you are up to, where we can find you, and hear what you enjoyed most about this campaign before we say goodbye to you for the last Heir, for the last time. I'm going to start with you, Charlie. You are up first.
Oh, I last to join, but first to say goodbye. It's very sad. But I have to say something that has been outstanding and incredible throughout this entire campaign is V's ability to not only keep track of NPCs, but to make them fully formed people with incredible voices that she will flick between so quickly. They've been really bold and beautiful, and in terms of the evil guys, they've been really motivated and interesting, which I think is easy in D&D to just have your evil guy be the evil guy, and that's enough justification, but definitely a lot of range and a lot of depth, and I think that's brought a lot of great things to the cast to play with. So thank you for bringing us your toys and letting us smoosh them together like this.
You're very welcome.
Favorite moment of the game has to be the giant horny toad that we fought a couple of episodes ago, and the explanation of the Pineys of what the problem was and how we were kind of like, think about it. Can we avoid fighting this thing? Can we lure it away? It just wants to make love with other horny giant toads. I mean, who are we, Zira and the Lovemakers, to stop this from happening? So yeah, thank you so much for letting me join in and be a part of this journey. It's been super fun, incredible group, and it's been really nice to play some D&D in Midgard, in the Margrave in particular, here on Kobold Press. I'm Charlie, I'm the Twitch director at Encounter Roleplay. I also get to help make some shows happen here, and there is a new campaign that will be coming up in a couple of weeks on Monday nights at 8 p.m. With the GM Half-Assed Hermit. I don't think anything else has been announced, so I better not say anything else. But coming up Monday nights, 8 p.m. here, there's a new campaign coming up. It's not a replacement, it's just a new game that we're bringing, all about deep magic. So There you go. If that sounds interesting, come and check that out. This is where we will be. And on Tuesdays, of course, we have the GM tips, tricks, and more with Lydia and Nat. And that is also at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays. So lots of content here on Cable Press. And I know they're only going to be bringing more. But we will miss our Sunday nights together. It's a lovely way to begin or end my week, depending on how I'm thinking about Sunday on that day.
All right. Thank you so much, Charlie, truly.
Yeah, I want to just pretty much ditto what Charlie said about the characters and the NPCs and just the incredible mood that V was able to create that is a true talent that all DMs don't have. And I'm lucky to be at the table where, I can really feel the emotions and envision the world around me. So that was an incredible treat. And another thing is really getting to walk away with friendships from that. I know that's cheesy, but that's not the case for every single campaign you're in. And so feeling like I'm really walking away from this campaign with just some incredible friendships is very meaningful to me. There were so many incredible moments. I really enjoyed, this was the first time that I have ever been able to play the start of a romance. And that was something that was on my TTRPG checkoff. So I want to thank Michael for letting me kind of indulge in that and just being a really good sport about all of that. That was really fun for me and a kind of a personal goal that was achieved. Anyways, I'm Stonefly_Kai on Twitter and Instagram. That's where I'm active.
Excellent. And then over to you, Jim.
Hey, everybody. So first off, I want to thank all my fellow players for putting up with my shenanigans. I very often have no idea what Sling is going to do till it comes out of my mouth. So I really appreciate the patience with dragging them into a variety of cosmic, being shenanigans and situations, and for them being cool with it and not kicking me out of the group.
Dragging Pumpkin Jack into our campaign? Is that what you're referring to?
Oh boy, him. I would have done more if I had the chance. We would have gotten in so much trouble. And also, this style of game was very much character driven, and their relationships and their development. That's not what I'm very familiar with. I've played a lot in that, and so in that sense, I really appreciate everybody showing me that. And to me, it's very fulfilling because it's very different from when I usually play D&D, but it's also fun and engaging and like I said, very satisfying. So I appreciate that. You're awesome. You set a scene and could play an NPC, and it's very impressive. I hope we get to play again, but even though you're very busy. But yes, that's what I'd say. Favorite moment, gosh. I think my favorite moment would just be, it was sort of early on when we were still feeling out the characters and how they'd relate to each other, and just that early campaign period where we're still trying to find the group, and how easy and sort of developed it became. Some groups we're together because it's D&D and you're adventuring, but this felt very, I don't know how you call it. This is why I write things down, but it felt very natural. I really liked that. It came together very, very nicely. Fun times. Loved it. I am on YouTube occasionally. I don't know, on WebDM's main channel. I'm also on WebDM Plays, although I haven't had a video uploaded there for a while, but that's where our actual plays are archived. You can also catch me on Monday nights on Eric Vulgaris' channel, where I play some Pendragon, which is really awesome. Very, very different than D&D, but very, very satisfying to play as well. So yeah.
Excellent. Moving up to you, Sky.
Oh boy, so much. This one was a wild ride. I'd like to retcon a thing real fast because I didn't get to throw it in earlier.
Oh, sure.
Errol would have brought that pie out as like a big pie because there was always fighting over pies, and it's like we are going to share a pie tonight.
Excellent.
So.
I love that. Yes.
Yep. But yeah. Oh, geez. I've got to agree with Jim on this being one of the few campaigns where it feels like it's very natural for the group to come together despite all their different backgrounds. You know, a lot of times it is very much, all right, we've got these backgrounds, we've got these people that are just kind of here doing these things together because for some reason we're not sure that they have to. And that didn't feel like the case here. It felt like we all had a specific purpose, whether we knew it at first or not. It felt like it was naturally revealed through time. Favorite part? There was a lot. Why am I supposed to choose one?
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I think I basically had a favorite with each character. I mean, there was the reveal that Baba Yaga was Celine's grandma, but not grandma, but grandma. There was the bit, well, it's not something Ael's necessarily aware of, but, you know, with Zira's history. And then Weeble Wobble with her using her little ball to tell, you know, prophecies, so to speak. When really, when you look down at it, it's more like encouragement. You know, you don't read it as encouragement, so it's like self-fulfilling. You're going to go and do this, and it's going to be great. You know, so that was always fun. Gervain finally coming out with that skeleton stuff was great. I'd been waiting for that. It's like, this is going to happen. It's illustrated. This stuff's got to happen at some point. That was great to finally see that. I'm sad it was a last minute thing. We know it tried to happen earlier, but the dice are the dice. So, overall favorite moment would it'd probably have to be that first night back at the tavern with Mama Rihanna and the cake and the beer and us all singing to her. Because I think that's where it really, really started cementing whether we knew it or not. You know, we don't know this old lady at all, but we're singing her happy birthday. So, as far as where you can find me on Twitter. Is that Sky or Skylar? I think it's Skylar MacIver. I went and recently rebranded because I got tired of being Torn Pixie everywhere. So
it makes sense.
I've grown up. It's time for an actual name out there. Mm-hmm. So it's either Sky MacIver or Skylar MacIver, anywhere you're looking for me. I've got about one stream a week now. And that's it for now. I'll have more in the future. So
fantastic. And Michael.
Hey folks. It's a ride. So you know, I think to speak to your talent and ability, V, first and foremost, being able to kind of create a real world with real consequences and something that was very dynamic. The characters felt alive. The environment, the Margrave Forest was a person or a being in its own self. Every NPC you played, it was evocative. Like, it brought out emotions and changed. You know, I'm sure it changed my character that I played and changed me as a role player. Definitely pushed. You delivered. You set the context of a space that let us grow as role players, each and every one of us, and creating the opportunity for these connections between the characters, PCs and NPCs, you know, favorite moments in the campaign were just the ones of like huge moral conflict of Gervain. You know, his whole premise is just freedom, and he at some point, I don't want to say give up, but like bought into the feeling that he might be stuck in the Margrave, and that's not something that any DM can bring out of a character, of like trying to flip the script on a character like that. And to Kai, I'm really glad that we got to have like the character relationship to bring that to the screen, because to me, like having those relationships in RPGs are very important, and something to be cherished. And every person here has been wonderful. Jim, like you just have a wonderful way of playing characters and bringing so much stuff from your DMing side to the table. Charlie, just being eccentric and trying to pump in like some more lightheartedness into scenes has been really great. And Ewell, kind of like that really, I want to say, what's the word for it? You came at it from so many different angles. Your character did, and that's something I appreciate. And like, so best moment, just the Baba Yaga and Mama Rihanna, those characters, and the scene where Baba Yaga like takes her away, and that just a huge shift for all of our characters. My favorite moment. As far as where you can find me, I'm pretty sure we announced this with looking for more network, but there's going to be some episodes dropping in September, which I'm really excited about, where we play in a Dark Sun setting. I forget what the campaign is called. I'm terrible. But looking for more network is going to have all that information, where I get to play with some really talented people. And I still am on Fateforge Academy with this lovely person over here. So that's where you can find me. And I also play a lot of Magic the Gathering on my stream. So we're really close to Diamond. That's my goal this season. So hopefully we can get there. And just keep on Michael Crits everywhere, Twitter especially, to see what I'm up to next.
Excellent. And I'm VMuse. I have been your DM for the past 2 seasons, and this has been an absolute pleasure. I truly enjoyed building and creating this world for you all to explore and interact with and get to know and react to. And quite frankly, my favorite parts were dropping bombs on you and just seeing your faces go from one expression to a completely different one in 6 seconds flat. You have all helped shape and create this storyline in your own ways. You'd give me little threads to start pulling on, and your reactions helped me weave them together to, further drive where you were all going. And it has been nothing less than an absolute pleasure to watch your PCs grow and develop and breathe life into them and become such unique and interesting people, really, when all is said and done. So for that, I very much want to thank each and every one of you for sharing that experience with me and with each other, because that has been incredible to be able to do with all of you. My favorite part, quite frankly, it is absolutely that moment where you all pulled together after seeing Baba Yaga disappear into the night and knew that it was time to buckle down and get things going. That for me was the turning point for you all to go from, we're just kind of here to try and fix things, to no, this is going to happen. It was such an interesting turnaround for all of you to see that growth happen instantaneously. So that very much will stick with me. And I just want to thank everyone in the chat who has been with us from day one. And for those of you who jumped in down the line and caught up, and, it's just been great to see all the comments throughout each game and each session. You've all been wonderful as well. So thank you for sharing in this experience too. As for where you can find me every Thursday over on Mini Train Domain as a player, as Cantrielle Cavatina, a very feisty, sassy, sarcastic bard. no, really, like she uses sarcasm for inspiration. So you can join me over there if you'd like to. That is 8:30 p.m. Every Thursday. And I am also just kind of floating around here and there. Life is busy for me right now. You can catch me over on WizKids, either on their YouTube channel, Facebook page, or just in general doing stuff with them. And for now, I am going to say thank you so much, everyone. Be sure to tune in for all the new and exciting things Copal Press is going to have to offer you on this channel. You will not be disappointed. And I like to say, in everything I do, be good to yourselves and be good to each other. Take care, everyone, and good night. Bye.